Hi, I'm Rob Dahm, and I am about to race up Pikes Peak.
Dahm has done it. He is finished.
At 11:04, basically the fastest RX-7 up the mountain. It has been my dream to have a moment like this where I've done something that everybody considers generally good. And so with that, we have a couple items of merch that are coming out that are very special to me, and as a result, are limited edition. So much so that we're gonna do a pre-order only. So when Haltech made this shirt, I fell in love with it. They did such a cool job with this, we decided to model a shirt off of this whole design. And so we actually reached out to Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, PPIHC. They allowed us to license their logo to have a special edition. Now, I ran 11 minutes and 4 seconds. So naturally, that means there are only 1,104 shirts. And so that's it. That's all we're making. I suspect that these will sell out. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is not this poster. We are going to finally do a proper poster, and it's gonna be this big, and this is what it's gonna look like. So it's proper printed, everything nice about it. It's going to be expensive for us to make, and it's expensive for us to ship, but it's so worth it because that's something that I wanted very bad to have. On top of that, we actually have lanyards, and I've no expense spared. Every option that you can do on these lanyards, I've done because I hate crappy lanyards. And then finally, this little guy is one of my favorite things. I'm gonna have Joel put it on my hand. This was also taken from a picture that somebody took straight on with the car, but I've always wanted a little slap sticker that looks like a cartoon, and you guys can see it. I can't. That is also for sale. So we got all these being printed right now, but with that shirt pre-ordering, right next door to us, literally through this wall right here, is the printing shop. They're literally working on the rest of the merch right now. So this is the absolute pinnacle of chaos and passion. And it's even hard for me to watch the video and realize that we did all that, but you guys enjoy. It is the first day of the rest of our lives. This is testing. It's also qualifying, so no pressure. Being a rookie, it is pure chaos in the pits. Power steering pump is seizing up. Thankfully, I think all the rotary guys, there's somebody in Colorado that has one. The other drivers have been giving me some really good things to think about. For example, we are running the first lap with the new tires that we'll use on race day, scrub those in, come back, swap to these tires that we've been using that are scrubbed in, but hot. Hopefully we might be able to set my fastest lap. Now, they're already going now, so I've got maybe 10 minutes before I have to be on the line. It is absolutely insane that we are starting right here, one turn away from this, and we end up all the way up there. That's the race.
I can't believe I was drifting it. I can't believe I was doing that. I was burning through those turns, but then I have some code that I was testing and it screwed me ultimately as it kept auto shifting me down a gear, and I was trying to shift down, and because of that I put it into neutral, and you can't get out of neutral over the safety speed. So I got stuck in neutral, got pulled to the side of the road, and then got back in gear, and so my time reflects that.
The ABS is off, I turned off traction control, it's all just kind of like in the way. I realized I was doing some mistakes with the shifting, took all that out, so it's all pure manual. I think I can qualify a really good time. I know this road very, very well. It is ridiculous how memorizing it, not just an Assetto, but like doing all the other things, watching all the videos. It wasn't like going to a new track and you don't know the turns. I knew where I was at. It's getting about 230, 229 degrees. The oil's hotter, which is exactly what we intended. To be able to survive that far at full boost is incredible, and we're not even using the water cooler, so I'm gonna get a water cooler. That's gonna make a huge difference. We feel like a real fucking race team. This is real race car shit.
We're going right back out. The tires are nice and warm. Much better. I ran out of boost.
What did you just say?
You got a 430 something on your second run. I'll show you right now. It is 439.5.
No fucking way. I thought I'd been 530 this whole time. Holy shit. We lost boost and we still did that. I will tell you right now, we are relying on the oil, and the oil is delivering. This is 250, 260 degree oil temp. As I'm driving down, the car gets to 148 degrees. It just stays there the whole time. How much of a difference there is between going up at speed and coming down or even driving normal. Well, that snorkel is working really, really well. We were seeing 530 degrees before coming out of turbo, and now we're seeing the same temperature, but at the top of that run. I went out harder than ever. I qualified within seconds of Mad Mike's time. I want to take you guys on a quick tour of what the morning seems like right before testing. And we are at Glen Cove, which is basically a third of the way up. The way this event is ran is super smooth. I mean, there's 25 teams here in one baby parking lot. It's insane. It's 4:30 now, but the time's gonna fly. We have a driver's meeting probably 4:45, 5 o'clock. We'll see if we can keep the car cold. We just did the driver's meeting. We are not running yet. It's the fog. The top section isn't running at all. What they're telling me right now is that because our qualifying time's set, we are guaranteed to run after 7 on race day no matter what. That will simulate what race day will actually be like. So it's gonna be ice cold out there. My goal is to do 2 runs today to get data, but also more seat time. I want to thank this man right here. He came up to me and just gave me some incredible tips, and we used them yesterday. First run was on the scrub the new tires, the stickers.
Okay, so
yeah, it did exactly.
It was complete difference.
Yes, and then the second set was on the tire warmers setting aside the car, and that's when I qualified.
We were watching yesterday. The time was absolutely amazing, and yeah, today is gonna be a different story. You have to make to the top. That way you can do 1 more at the top and race on Sunday, and the rest it's just practice.
Yeah.
Take it easy, enjoy it, and have fun.
Because the fog isn't lifting, and they require rookies to get a run, all the rookies are gonna go follow behind a safety truck. And this is the only section I've ran before, so at least I don't feel fully cheated. How was it? Fucked. Absolutely fucked. The alternator was fucking up big time, and the O2 sensor's dead. So we went up there. I mean, you just listen to this. Right now I have. We didn't get to do a single actual run. I have a lot of strong feelings about this, about how unprepared my team has been. This has been very difficult because my life is on the line. I'm being told, hey, it's good. I go grab the battery cable. The fucking battery, the main ground was sitting on top of it. I think they damaged the fuel pump controller because that and their problems with the alternator. The poor fuel pumps are just, a fuel pump controller isn't supposed to handle 22 volts. I need to test tomorrow. I've got no car, I've got no fuel, so and I've got no O2 sensors. The stakes again couldn't be any higher. That name is actually very, very appropriate right now. We are so lucky that a shop like this exists. Under Pressure Performance is pulling a fuel cell out of their own car to help give us a shot at tomorrow morning. So their name really fits up to the situation because we are under pressure and they're delivering. You guys pulled this out of one of your cars?
Yeah.
Oh
My shop manager's S14 that he's building. We went over there to an offsite storage and pulled that up for you. He's currently in Japan right now.
We're gonna go ahead and swap this guy out, send it back to Fuel Lab and confess our sins. Swap that one in and literally use it for about 3 hours. Fuel Lab's overnighting us replacement parts for this. Thankfully, this one exists, and thankfully UPP made that happen because those 3 hours are extremely critical to the future of my experience here. Recommended this by a lot of different people, and it's like $700, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this kit's not worth $700. It's got a lot of promising pieces, but it's super confusing. They give you multiple nozzles, which looks like, okay, I'm gonna be able to run multiple nozzles on the kit, and it's actually different sizes, and like I said, their instructions really poorly don't explain any of this. The goal is this little water tank here is 2.5 gallons. We're gonna spray that water that we're gonna put into there through this 300 PSI pump and then take that over to a nozzle on the front of the radiator, not in the radiator, in front of the radiator. So the idea is that it takes energy for water to evaporate. And so it's called evaporative cooling, which is why swamp coolers work. The hope is that that can help cool the radiator even more, and as a result, keep the car going harder, longer, faster, stronger. Joel was trying to get one like shot establishing where we're at, but you know what I did? Brought him back to wiring.
Ah!
We're gonna do a whole montage now. Fuel up.
Not if you get on your computer and turn the fuel pumps off.
We're all losing our minds, and we love it. I'm going to risk it all.
Turn the fuel pumps on.
Turn the fuel pumps on. Yeah, no prime.
Oh, it's working. It's pointed the wrong way. I think so.
I probably angle a little bit inward. That way it doesn't collect on the bottom. Because if it's hot and I go to stop, so
Slow down, huh?
Yeah, I slow down. We're not going 100 miles an hour the whole time. But his idea was really good for the high speed. That's moving a lot of water. Let's turn the priming back on. Fuel pump on. I hear them trying.
They're working.
Fuel pressure is 54 psi.
Nice.
Let's see how much current they use. That was way too quiet. 19 amps each, just sitting here. It's so much higher than brushless pumps. So those wires are gonna be working hard. I knew that that's what we were walking into, and so we're at 53 base pressure. We might have to turn it down just so the pumps don't have to work so hard.
Show everybody how you get into reverse.
Okay. You take the zip tie tool, you place it in the slot, and then you push like so. It has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions, plans, situations. We got the fuel pumps swapped over, and the O2 sensors never came back online, and so it was a very difficult evening. Thankfully, you guys were able to come up with solutions, and we had external O2 sensors all figured out. Mikey dropped off one to my hotel room at midnight or after midnight and helped me save the day. And so then we were up at 2 in the morning ready to go up the mountain to do the top part, and blizzard. I let the guys rest. I got up, went for a run to a gym, did an hour gym session, ran all the way back. I got that cardio in, and then on that got the clear mind, came out to PPIR, which we've been here before because of grid life. We're gonna do some more shakedown tests, the flat shifting, testing the new fuel system. Fuel Lab sent us a replacement unit, overnighted. The Fuel Lab stuff is just like half the current of, you know, those Walbro 525s. If that becomes an issue, we'll know out here, but it's nice. You can hear some of the other guys, Sean Bassett and whatnot, testing already. We'll be out there shortly seeing what the car can do, getting good logs, seeing if we can keep that E-gate cool. The hope is that tomorrow was supposed to be like optional testing to go test the course one more time. It's actually now the only time I might get up on the top section of the mountain. If it snows again, which is very likely, I will have zero practice on almost 2/3 of almost the entire thing. I've had 2 laps on the bottom section, 2.5 laps, all of us stopping halfway through them. And the middle section, we had really slow laps last week and got yelled at the whole time. So I've never actually driven the entire course at speed. We'll see what comes of it. We are going back to something tried and true. FuelTech Nano is actually just a nice, phenomenal standalone unit. So that way we've got a guaranteed external O2 source, even if the Haltech comes back, but I saw a minimum of 18.5 volts, and it was spiking, so it was probably closer to 20 something. You know, you just can't log that fast. It shouldn't be subjected to that at all. So externally, we've got this power, ground, and then 0 to 5 volt signal wire. Calibrate that to this, and we've got wideband yet again. We're gonna measure how many gallons per minute or gallons per 10 minutes this tank behind me will deplete. So that's a 2.5 gallon tank. So we have the bigger nozzle on it, so it should deplete kind of quicker. Our goal is to make sure that it cools it as much as possible, but it also cools it when we need it the most and continues after that. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire up that system, and we're gonna run it until Ethan tells me that 1 gallon is full, and we'll extrapolate how long it took to do that. Stop.
That was 6:30.
That's a 2.5 gallon tank. Talking 15 minutes, which is what I bullshitted last night. With the bigger nozzle, we can run the whole run with that thing on. And I just looked up the boiling point of water, and up at 10,000 feet, which is almost where we start, boiling water occurs at 193 degrees. So I'm gonna have it turn on basically at 190 and then just stay on. What we're gonna do next is fire up the car, let it warm up, make sure the O2 is working, and then get it out there and then test the water and test everything. The good news is the nano screen and the ECU are reading the same, so I got the calibration right for the 0 to 5 volts. Running a little rich. I was planning that right now we'd be going up the mountain without oxygen sensors, so that could also be affecting how it is breaking up, because I just was like, I would rather not blow the motor, especially when top gear's here. That was the best experience I've ever had in the car. Everything was working finally how it was supposed to. The wastegate got up to 175 C, coolant got up to 203 degrees. Both fuel pumps went up to 22.3 amps. Okay. So they're not gonna trigger the alarm. Nice. And that was at full boost.
And now it's raining.
Yeah, it's starting to rain.
Oh my God, this is exactly what happened in Pueblo. It doesn't want me running the car. All of a sudden, it just hits. Out here, it's just like a hurricane or a tornado, just whoosh, rain, wind, fire, brimstone. This time though, it was after my first run, not right at my first run. While we're waiting out the storm, I'm noticing some interesting things with the shock level data. Now this is my opinion, and my opinion alone. You can actually see me hit a bump here, and when you zoom out, it becomes way more apparent. There's just normal road surfaces, and then boom, you either have a bump or a divot in the road. See how the red and the white go down first, and then the green and the yellow second? Sure enough, red and white are the front tires. So your goal is to have the front of the car hit a bump, the rear of the car hit a bump, and then with the right frequencies, have them both calm down after that first kind of sine wave. So it's da-doosh. What this is suggesting to me is that the rears are a little like overreacting just the slightest bit. I am going to do my very first shock adjustment ever and adjust both compression and rebound, just one click each. I don't even know if that'll be enough to see, but I feel like that'll be a good first test for me, seeing how to operate very expensive shocks. The boost control. I definitely think us putting heat sinks and another water injector onto it, and I think we're good. Definitely front wings. it understeers like crazy when you really get to the limit. It makes sense with the whole rear. The car responds better to braking and the throttle lift to rotate than it does steering. That big rear wing is keeping the car planted when I'm under acceleration coming out of turns. Okay. Because I don't feel the power oversteer at all. That plus the front wings, and I'll be able to rotate the car properly. Okay. But very, very impressed with the car. I was supposed to be asleep. We walked out to this while we were driving up the mountain the last couple days. I thought it was Ethan snoring, but it was actually every time Isaiah would turn the steering wheel.
Oh yeah, that's puncturing.
From where is it leaking from on that thing?
Oh baby.
So this trip has just honestly been excruciating. If it's not one thing, it's another. My mental health is at an all-time low. Thank God I have Ethan, because normally it'd be me doing everything.
This is the experience of us getting up to Devil's Playground, and it's crazy because not only is it foggy, but it's also windy, and the wind is blowing up the mountain, down the mountain, and we've got an enclosed trailer, so it's pretty nuts. It's actually scarier than driving it up. So here's a left European. So we're hopefully, I mean, this is the best conditions we've got yet to be up at the top of the mountain. So you can feel it's like this it's piercing. I feel like I'm Jim Couture or whatever his name is from the Weather Channel. It's Category 5 hurricane. This is a rare chance that only if you're in the hill climb do you get to see the sun rising up here at Devil's Playground. It's always closed until after sunrise for tourists. So this is a very, very rare sight to see, and my God, is it beautiful. Mist, the wind, the rain, all of the experience of being up on the top of a mountain for sunrise, and honest to God, it's absolutely beautiful. The driver's meeting was delayed, but it's starting to look better, at least to do some slower runs, hopefully. It's kind of crazy filming Top Gear, filming our stuff, and prepping for driving a very insane section of the road. We just had a driver's meeting. There's 40-mile-an-hour winds up at Cog Cut. It's absolutely nuts. But this is probably the least amount of experience you can get on the race before race day.
All the rookies are going to be making that one run with safety trucks in front of them.
Copy that.
And you guys cross the finish line, go around the big loop,
Yep.
and then they'll lead you back down. That'll be your one run.
Okay.
And then if it clears up, great. So in 10 minutes, we're going to get everyone's stage to go up there, okay?
Copy that.
Cool.
But just like yesterday, it'll be a car centipede. I will be able to tell you with almost zero visibility, 40-mile-an-hour winds, what it's like driving this road. And so this is honestly something that we wouldn't experience if the race was occurring. They wouldn't let this happen. So this is actually also a unique chance to experience the road when you should not be on it.
On the start, if you can, try to spin the tires a little bit. Okay. To create a little bit heat on the surface, it's gonna cool off like this. We'll see up on the top, and then preview race on Sunday.
That dude's so awesome. That was absolutely nuts. Right now, look at the tire temp. 37 Fahrenheit. That was the hottest the tire got to. It's very bumpy, but not in the way you expect. It doesn't make any sense. It's not like any other road. It was cool to do. It didn't really help me prepare. We'll see if we get to do an actual run. It's clear up at the top. You can see for miles. So this is the only spot where there's fog.
this wasn't recording while I just had my fun times, but I was one of the first to go, and this is our only run. And you can see we're right up at the top of the mountain, and my power steering belt failed. One of them helped me cut off the belt because the risk was try and use the belt again or have it catch in the trigger wheel and destroy everything. So I opted for using my forearms to power me through. So definitely a little fun thing there, but I think I turned this little thing off right as I was about to go. But holy shit, it is bumpy.
How sketchy was that?
Sketchy as fuck. That was nuts. It was like, hey, it's gonna be bumpy. Hey, it's gonna be bumpy. Oh shit, it's bumpy.
Oh, this is your first time running up here?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's it. That's all I get.
The last two corners are like, woo. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I snapped my power steering belt on the last corner.
Oh.
But they said I was shooting titanium sparks from my under tray, so
yes.
It balances out a 10. Honestly, with my own safety, I don't think this is gonna happen. But I'm coming back.
Just finish. You know, like if you're in the low 11s.
Yep.
Which I'm really confident you're doing low 11,
yes.
high 10.
Yep.
That's a serious fucking accomplishment, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is factory. I have a whole team. Like, you built that thing. Like, that's your car, your team. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like,
thank you.
You get across that line, dude, that's everything.
Yeah.
And then next year, you know what to expect.
I got this for you.
Oh, thank you. You ran with no belt?
Gotta do what you gotta do. That whole run was sponsored by Anti-Gravity.
Wow.
We hit some nasty bumps. A couple of different corner workers said they saw sparks from the titanium little stoppers on the front. On one of them, it bounced the car like this, and I felt the steering lock up. The belt fell off. So I drove the rest of the way up with no belt. It felt incredible. I was slipping several of those turns.
Really?
I'll take what that felt like because that was good.
Okay.
Like you can only hit those bumps. Like,
Yeah.
You can't avoid it. There's infamous Evo corner, and there's no guardrail there. That's one of my favorite things about this race is that there should be a guardrail there. There's not.
So one of the things I absolutely love about Rob is he gets so engaged talking to people, and I love that he takes the time to actually sit there and have a genuine conversation with everybody. But Ethan had the great idea, here, let's go get some ice cream, get him an ice cream cone, give him the ice cream cone. He's not gonna eat it because he's talking, it's gonna be melting in his hand, and so that's it's honestly fucking hilarious.
I have enjoyably not had a moment to film anything because I've been hanging out with everybody. That's the whole reason I wanted to be here, because even if I don't do well at the event, this is why I do what I do. It is less than 24 hours before the start of the race, and I'm actually okay with where we're at. A lot of ups and a lot of downs. I have virtually no driving experience in the car. That's the biggest down. That said, I actually have a really strong feeling that we will be the fastest RX-7 on the mountain. Rod Millen set that back in 1991 at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. While Mad Mike right now has the fastest rotary, I just don't have the time on the mountain because of the 2 canceled days and us not making it to practice. I have a total combined 4 runs at speed. If I crash, that's because I'm trying to push it too hard, and I don't want to do that. I want to prove that we can make it as a random ass team the first year. We have a huge list of things. Wires go into the E-gate. It is E for electronic. Wires, no matter what, Tefsel or anything, start to melt the sheathing at about 300 degrees. And so the poor E-gate is no different. Now, it is water cooled. The water cooling is mostly to protect the magnets, because when magnets get hot, like exhaust temperature hot, they lose their magnetisivity. If your turbo or your manifold is over here, clock this away from it. Pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, Isaiah clocked it towards it. You have radiant heat from a 1700 degree manifold. Now, you know, we have Turbolone's in-canal heat shielding on there, but nothing is perfectly a vacuum. Nothing is incapable of transmitting heat. So the radiant heat from the manifold sitting an inch away from the goddamn poor E-gate is radiating heat over the course of about 5 or 6 minutes at full tilt on an 8-degree load, and it's just overwhelming the safety features of this, and rightfully this thing is turning off to keep itself safe. We've done that probably 10 times now, and it's come back every time. So these things are very, very solid. They can take a beating. But that's not the point. If you're gonna buy and build a car with an E-gate, which is a weapon of a thing, treat the E-gate right. What I'm gonna try to do is deal with the circumstances of what we got now. And so the electronics are inside of here. And what I wanna do is try to maximize the cooling that can occur on this. Now, if we put heat sinks on this right now, it's actually going to get hotter because the heat sinks are going to take more of the radiated heat from the manifold. So the other thing we need to do is fix the way that the heat shielding has been done. It's been done improperly. My goal here is to have air be passing between a shield on this, a shield on this, and a shield on the manifold. So we have air insulating and removing as much heat as it can from between the walls of this. And I'm gonna kind of treat it like as if we're like a surgeon and do this so it's only exposed to the cold air, and then do the same thing with the manifold, and then just get cold air piping through that area. If the E-gate errors out, one of the coolest things is that it defaults open. That's just a safety feature, right? If the E-gate is to error out because we just can't handle the heat in time, I'm actually going to cut the power to the E-gate when it's at about 10% open. Basically, you know, full boost the whole time. We got to put brake ducts on the car. Power steering pump seized again, a new one. Steven Nelson, one of my really good friends, the guy who made the custom hood for the 4-rotor, is here. He drove all the way down. He brought all of his bag of tricks for carbon, and so that's where these finally get to come into play. Bolt check and check my rear spindles. I've got a lot of tuning to do, but I also have little baby radiator fans for the sides that we're trying to wedge in there, and they haven't showed up yet. We got some work cut out for us before we unload the car in 6 hours.
The pump is fucked up. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not sure exactly what's happening. My best guess is that we're running the wrong fluid. FD pumps like to have ATF, and we've been running O'Reilly's power steering fluid. I can show you guys the bottle, and it does not look the way it went in. So I think that's our problem, and I think that is fucking up the pump on the inside. So I got another pump. I put ATF in there, and so we tried to spin it, and it just felt weird. So I said, I'm just gonna replace the pump. We have absolutely no time, and we have like maybe 10 things to do. So we're just gonna keep moving forward and hope for the best.
My carbon.
I love it.
The snowflake. This is my special weed. That's the new stuff.
Wow.
I'm the only guy that has it.
Now I am.
Yeah, it's gonna be special for your car.
Yeah.
For you. Yay.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Love.
This little board right here, it needs to be protected from us abusing it. And so what we'll do is heat sink the shit out of this area and then hit that with water, so you really keep the energy through this board as cold as possible. We're basically trying to tell the E-gate, don't worry, don't worry. But the E-gate itself can handle this. Even when it overheats, the E-gate's still fully fine controlling it. It's just the hull tech is saying, hey, let's shut it down before you damage anything. So it's doing what it's supposed to do for everything but Pikes Peak, which is unplug all of your safeties and just get to the top. So that's kind of my current mentality, and I know the E-gate can handle it. I'm just gonna kind of lie to it. Ethan got all the supplies from Home Depot to spray water and evaporatively cool this. I think even then I lied to how hot or cold it is, and then we actually buy time because it might actually keep it way cooler. Now that we know where the E-gate temperature is most critical,
I never got a chance to cut this part of the subframe, but we're gonna use that to our advantage. Cut that off, maybe bend the front of the flat bottom down, and get air right into here. So we'll have two channels of air, giving the E-gate a nice little hug. This is kind of a desperate times call for desperate measures, and we have even better versions of this at the shop, and this was never the intention. We were gonna, kind of do the Porsche style brake ducts to make sure that there is some air, one way or another, getting right to there while the tire turns and doesn't hit it. So got a little bit of a challenge, but at least even if it breaks or whatever, at least we're trying to get some air to the caliper and let me trust the brakes.
That's 11 standing full time.
But we got the front wings on, and we're gonna cut the bottom parts because it's gonna hit the ground, right? And then the top part, so that way when air comes this way, it's actually more air on the top as much as possible, even the air that's right here, instead of shooting that off this way. This is what happens when you do it by hand. It's a little wobbly. The belt will be way more lined, so it won't shred as easily.
What else do we have to do? Pack up?
Take the wings off and pack up. Look at my little baby scoop I made. Oh, no way. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how I did it, but that gives you an air channel here carrying the evaporative cooling, and I opened up the area down here so it all comes up and then has a place to get the hell out of the car. And you can see exposed gate right there. I made like a whole shrine for it, completely encapsulated, even from the tube that is going through the bottom of the gate. So it's just like this. Boop. Almost like a mole or something you're about to remove. Rope it off, get this air above and below it, shoot water at it, and then lie about what temperature it is to its sensor. And I think we'll last the entire run. I couldn't get it lined up, so I just needed to line it up. I'm sorry. Perfect timing for me to come up here and see the car being unloaded and help push it backwards, because reverse takes so much work to get into. So this is actually really technically hours before the race. 5:30, we have to be back here 1:30. It's gonna be a hurry up and wait type of situation because the run order just came out and I'm like 2/3 of the way down, which is exactly where I was hoping to be. That means that I'll probably be running maybe 1 p.m. assuming everything goes good. Tonight, I'm gonna try to get a little bit of sleep. I'm also gonna try to watch some videos that help me figure out that top section more. But right now, I'm actually gonna go back with the Top Gear guys and ride up one last time, visualizing the road. 2:30 in the morning, and we've been here at the trailer for a little bit. The guys spilled some PTFE liquid, so we're cleaning that up before we take off. But we've been up since 12:30 at night. That's
morning for us right now. I've kind of caught back up with the guys because I was just hanging out with Top Gear filming that whole thing. And so I got to drive the mountain one more time and they let me narrate the whole thing. So it was perfect for me, very therapeutic, very cathartic, that I was able to just, you know, visualize the road. And I've got a couple things like sitting deep, like, oh man, we never got to finish testing this, or I wish we'd gotten that, or I wish we pulled more weight. But overall, I feel good. It's kind of a hurry up and wait situation right now. There's a driver's meeting in 4 hours or less than 4 hours. Kind of rest a little bit by that time. And then after that, really, you're not gonna go back to sleep. A lot of people are already at the top of the mountain. Everybody, all of the Top Gear guys are in their spots. It's go time.
Hi.
This is race day. I had no idea what to expect. I thought at 5 in the morning it would be just like, you know, a handful of sleepy-eyed people just kind of moping towards their cars. Nope, fans are here. And so it's just go. And so it's funny, I'm actually not even in my race suit, and all the other guys are, but to my credit, I'm also not running right now. Kind of getting a brief moment to try and enjoy the event too, because especially when I run, I'll be sitting up there for a couple hours waiting for the rest of the people to make it up to the top. My realistic expectations for today, given all of our circumstances, is that 2/3 of this is gonna be just to the limit, my limit, holy shit, this is amazing. And then 1/3 of it is gonna be like screaming at the car, like frustrated with what I did. I have no idea what to expect having the car last for the, you know, whatever, 10, 11, 12 minutes. To be honest, if I blow my coolant seals at the top, that is a badge of honor because that's easy to replace. My dream goal right now is under an 1150 would be like, you know, you're gonna see me really in my feels, because that would make me the fastest RX-7 on Pikes Peak. Mad Mike holds the record for rotaries, but he's a professional driver. Being the fastest RX-7, I think, would really raise some eyebrows.
This is for our compression rods that we never got around to compressing. We got good safety wire this time, so it's going to be pulling that string, which is going to add another layer of strength, pretty much.
We definitely want to use the safety wire to pick it up a little bit, and then we'll round the front edge.
If he's gonna go sideways or something, when you have the asphalt, when it's sharp edge and there's a little higher pebble, it will hit it and rip it off. If it's round, it will have a tendency to jump on it.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
It's just
No, it's a small detail that makes
small
it big
detail,
back.
and
Yeah.
you know, it might be simple as that. He's gonna rip it and cut a tire. Smooth.
Smooth.
That's
Got
all
it.
that matters.
No, love the input.
He just comes up, tells me something, and then walks away. And I'm just like, I now know what it takes to do this. So, huge thanks to him.
If you get your Gibson tuned right, then you get a good sound like this. Met my girl in a trailer park. Got too drunk off my ass. That's the best we're gonna get, baby.
I just ordered some random ass copper heat sinks from Amazon. We ended up not using them, but they're cold because they transfer and conduct heat very well. So what I'm thinking, man, it's nice how cold they are. Put these just to, again, try and transfer as much heat to any sort of air that's willing to listen. And I don't want to put it on the sides because there's 250-degree temperatures coming off the sides, and it's going to heat up the radiator. So I want to have it on the radiator, but just not in the way of other air. So any air leaking by, it just has more surface area to transfer heat. previewing the last logs of the car running, making sure I checked all the boxes of things that I said I was going to do that wouldn't stop me from making a good run. That would be my biggest bummer, is to be up at the top and tell you guys, oh, I forgot to, we were gonna, and you know, like, so I'm dotting I's, crossing T's. Robin has been like just giving me so much advice, and of course, 4-time King of the Mountain, I think it's a good person to take advice from. And actually, one of the things that I have to make peace with is the heating. And so he's got some advice on how to do this.
There's a thing called lifting and coasting. Today, ambient's actually pretty high on the mountain, very different to testing. So when you're saying you're overheating, it's a bit of a concern for you. So the best way to drive it less aggressively to get it cooled without losing too much time. So that's the lift and the coast. And they do it at Le Mans for fuel saving. It's the same deal there.
Really? Okay.
They do it in F1. Again, for fuel saving, for saving brakes. And basically, you go down the straight, and like midway down the straight, you lift and let the car coast. So that's the lift and coast before getting to your braking zone and hitting the brakes. So you'll get up to speed as hard as you can, and there's a point like, okay, the last 5 miles an hour I don't need, so that's when you lift and you roll into the turn, and that just pulls all the heat out of the car.
There's part of you that just wants to leave it all, like, I don't care if there's parts of the car on the ground. I'm sorry, but I want to finish as fast as possible. But then there's a very real chance that you won't finish. I'm going to be watching my coolant temps and put that into use, because running a slightly slower time is better than not making it at all. I'm going to go ahead and go on the live stream and just talk with the guys and let everybody know how I feel. Yeah.
And we got Rob Dahm joining us here on the far side. And Rob, welcome. It's good to see you again after all the way down to the bare chest, right? Correct. And it's all happened very
Just did the interview, and they came up and said 15 minutes, 10-15. So it's really happening. This is nuts. I'm gonna treat the car good, treat the mountain good, and hopefully it treats me well back.
Okay.
1 minute, baby, 1 minute.
You can't see it, but Isaiah's face is absolutely gutted, because that was a brand new power steering pump, and it failed the moment we turned the car on for the first time.
That's not talking about, baby. That's not talking about, baby.
What a burnout.
I know.
Even though this was the first time with the front wings extending a foot out on each side of the car, I still paid for that entire road. I was going to use that entire road. I didn't know if I was going to rip one of them off, and it looks like a couple times I got close to it with the guardrail. White line to white line is the racing line, and that's exactly what I used. So I lifted and coasted here. Yet another lift and coast. I only did 117 miles per hour at the top because I lifted and coasted, and that certainly was critical to me making it to the top. During qualifying, I hit 131 miles an hour, so you can tell I really was going easy on the car. all of the moisture on my dash, that is not rain. That is actually radiator starting to tell me it's upset. So you saw me lifting and coasting through the entire course, and that was just barely enough. The car started overheating. at this moment, the GoPros and all of our cameras did not last as long as the car itself. The car certainly made the endurance run, but at this point we're just stuck with the one GoPro on the top of the car, and it still shows you how violent this section actually is. Now, the car got airborne, all 4 tires off the ground for more than a quarter of a second, twice on those 2 long straightaways, so that was absolutely terrifying. This hairpin is an area called Boulder Park, and Boulder Park is probably the name of what you're driving on, because it is a bunch of really weird shapes and divots in the road, patchwork, and it gets worse every year, and this year it was even more so. The car was bouncing left to right, up and down, side to side. It's not like a normal road that expands and contracts because of the weather. It's a mountain moving, and the road is very much alive, and so you are just trying to do your best to keep traction on top of it, but also go as fast as possible. I just said, okay, let's go full bore, full speed, and sure enough, it shot sparks crossing the finish line.
Rob Dahm is going to make it to the last corner here at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, and Rob Dahm has done it. He has finished. That time is going to put him at an 11:04, 797.
That's RX-7, baby! Got her up there.
Thank you.
Love it.
So you guys get to fact check me, but I think 11:04 makes me the fastest RX-7 up the mountain. So as a rookie, the goal is make it up the mountain, and I did, the car did.
It's awesome to see you out here at Pikes Peak, and we look forward to seeing you in the years to come.
So excited, guys.
Absolutely stoked up there.
Been walking along this line, and I just realized to myself that I'm not a media person up here watching all these drivers make it to the top. I'm one of them. I'm actually one of the drivers, and you don't know how incredible that feels to have some theatrics, have sparks, and have a complete car capable of driving all the way back down. I just did the group photo. It's so cool. I mean, some very insane and legendary people up here, and I get to stand with them.
Come on, Rob! Yeah!
Congratulations, fastest RX-7.
Fastest RX-7.
Is that confirmed?
That's so far confirmed. Everybody's saying it. That was absolutely insane. I brought that one for you guys.
No way.
Yep, you guys have to split it, but
LiQWYD.
that one's for you guys. Donuts only cooked up at the very top. 11:04.
Yeah,
11:04. I was slowing down on purpose, and I did just the right amount of what Rob and Shoot gave me for advice, because as soon as I got to the parking lot, the coolant started blowing over. There's one turn where I slid so far and I hit lock, and I'm like, nah, please don't go any further. And I actually used the car, used my rally skills, pulled it out, and then just kept going. If I had gone any faster, all of our other work would have failed.
because it was
Did
just
the E-gate
enough.
stay the whole time?
E-gate stayed the whole time. I had power, I had boost. It was slick out there, absolutely slick out there. And if anything is a testament to the racing schools I've gone to, this is it. I literally am at the middle of the pack of professionals. I made it, the car didn't blow up, and then I also laid down the best time we could with our rookie year. And so just seeing all the officials and everything, all the nods, was just like, it was greasy. You guys warned me, you guys kept me right,
Yeah.
and so I gave it exactly what it deserved.
But you didn't overheat.
I didn't overheat. That's
There you
right.
go. All right.
Yeah. I cannot wait to submit my application for next year.
All right, we look forward to it.